During the years that I was an atheist, there were still some small questions that I had, and I couldn't give a better answer. So I just accept what books were saying, society was saying. A small example of that is languages, how all the languages in the world came to be. The official answer is people just started with and they started to bring the together and created words, and with the time they created more words and the language became more and more complicated. But there are two problems with this. Two problems. One is that there is no proof of this. There is no proof in all the fossils, in all the history, in all the what we have that shows that before, in a specific time, there was these 2-3 words, and then became 20, and then started the grammar. And the other problem is that there are so many languages in the world. So many languages in the world. And to believe to that theory, it means that every few people started a new with different words, with different languages, and this is unrealistic, and there is no one single proof of that. So things like this and other questions, I accepted what was the official answer, but inside I was, this doesn't look very right. And when I went to university, things became worse, because at the university they teach that those theories and those thoughts that they have, it's the reality. That is the reality. There is no need for other explanation outside what they have theorized. And so it makes a person more close-minded. These theories are true, what they in the books are saying and explained, and outside of that you just are going outside of the reality, or outside the truth, or something like this, like sorry. So it became more eradicated, the idea that this is the explanation and that's it. And a lot of time what happens that Christians stop me in the roads in order to have conversation about God and things like that, and I believed genuinely that what I believed was the truth. So I was happy to discuss, because I was okay with what I believed, so I was happy to discuss. But at the same time, these theories are theories for a reason. Theory is something that can be true, but there is still not nothing that shows it, that proves it, that that is the truth. Like Charles Darwin theory. It's a theory. It's not Newton law. Newton law, it's a law. Gravity law, it's a law. Has been proven by reality to be true, and things are being built starting from those laws, and things works because those laws prove themselves to be true. Charles Darwin theory, on the other hand, remained the theory because nothing proved that to be a law, true. And everyone will, if sincerely just ponder about the reality around us, nothing shows that theory. The theory says that an animal, a plant, a human being, everything can change something to become something else. Has anybody seen a frog becoming butterfly or starting to have wings? So there is nothing that becomes something else. Everything is perfect as it is, and it can live and function only if left as it is. Nothing becomes better if you change how it works. Nothing comes out of something else. Every creature has the label creature because has been created. There is no other name than creature. And it works perfectly as it is. And it doesn't change in something else. So, anyway, so there is science that is a beautiful way that human beings have to analyze what is surround us and to understand how things works. This doesn't change nothing of the fact that things, animals, the earth, human beings exist. Just because science or human being try to understand how something works, it doesn't eliminate the fact that the human being exists. So it has been created. So science as it is beautiful because the human being uses his mind to understand the creation. But there are some scientists, and they are very small amount. All the scientists almost of the past, they believed more you try to understand the reality around, the complexity of the creation, more you understand how beautiful, perfect, and precise is everything. But there are some scientists that use science to prove their point, even if they don't show any proof actually, because there is no proof of multiverse universe, there is no proof of Charles Darwin theory, And if someone is honest and wants really to know stuff, it's easy. If someone goes and reads what Charles Darwin itself says about the possibility that a human eye came out of chance, he himself thinks is absurd. So I was an atheist because this was my environment and these were my views, and I had these small questions inside of me. So when I came to London, I came to find a job. I couldn't find it in Italy. And here I meet my husband, and he was Muslim. And he said to me, just please have a look into Islam. Just read in order to know what is talking about this religion. And talking with some relatives of his, was pointed out that I had more questions than answers. Because since I was, and I try to be a sincere person, I don't want to take some random explanations just to make things looks good. If I don't understand something, I don't know something, I say, well, I don't know it. So when was pointed out that I have more questions than answers, I tried, I started to think, okay, let's give answer to these questions. And that was the point where a veil came down, and for the first time I was thinking with my own mind. I left my parents' belief, my society beliefs behind, and I sat down and said, okay, let's just try to understand. And since Islam was the one presented me, I started with Islam, and I stayed with Islam because there was no need to go anywhere else. Everything started to be extremely clear. Reality was open, easy to understand, and everything made sense. Everything made sense. So I started to see how beautiful, complex, and perfect world is, and start to understand how absurd and how unreasonable is to think that all this beauty and complexity and perfection came out of nothing. Even statistically, there is no chance all this can come out just out of nothing. And even if you give the time of the times, out of nothing doesn't come nothing. Anyway, so for the first time I started to think with my own brain and to analyze things using sincerity, and making my own decisions. Finally, all these different peoples, they claims this is the reality, that is the reality. Every single human being had their own point of view. If you want to decide, if you decide to believe in, I don't know, ghosts, you believe them. If you don't, you don't. If you decide to believe in reincarnation or anything, you decide it. This is your reality. This doesn't say nothing about the reality itself. Just because someone decides to believe on something, it doesn't make it real. I used to think years ago that and this shows that I was a sincere person, and I think this makes a difference between someone that at the end accepts Islam, accepts the reality, from someone that will not. Sincerity. If you really want to know, you just try to understand, you get knowledge. So when I was younger, I used to think that no matter how beautiful and gold and full of diamond a cage is, if I am inside of a cage and the reality is outside, doesn't matter how beautiful this cage is. I'm living a life, and the reality, the truth outside. It's not worth it. So, more I learned about Islam, and more I'm learning about Islam, more everything makes sense, more everything is just, it's just perfect as it is. So, Islam, God, the one and only. As I said, we are creatures. We have been created. So this means that there is a creator. And this means that we are dependent. We depend. Even if we want to believe that a lot of people think we are our own gods. But a human being has to be realistic and see that we don't decide of almost nothing. We don't decide to don't breathe, otherwise we die. We don't decide to don't eat, to don't go to toilet. We don't decide to don't get sick, to don't die. We didn't decide to be born in the body we are, in the gender we are, in the family we have been born, in the country we have been born. We don't decide a lot of things. So we have to be honest and to see what we are. We are human beings. We have been created. We have been gifted with so many gifts, but still we are not our own gods. We don't decide what is reality. We have to try to understand, to get the knowledge what is reality, not to made up our own reality. Because it doesn't matter what you think or what you decide to think is true if that is not. So since we are dependent, there is the one that created us that is independent of everything, of nothing, independent. And the creator, the owner, the all-powerful, the pure, the gentle, the one that has in control everything. Has created us and has, since the beginning, showed us the reason, the purpose of our creation, and how to fulfill this reason. Since the first human being, Adam, peace be upon him, to all the humanity, since the beginning, God, the one and only God, Allah, has sent messengers to every community to say, look, there is only one God. You have been created to worship God, and every messenger came with their own law, because people are different, eras are different. So every community, every human being has got the message that there is only one God. And this is how you fulfill the purpose of your creation. And together with this, like this law and this explanation of the purpose of life, were the life manuals that God gave to human beings time after time to explain and to give the possibility to human beings to understand their own purpose of living, of being, and how to live this, how to live this life, to enjoy it and to do the what we are supposed to do, what we are supposed to do. And so during all the humanity, messengers gave the message, but human being has got a special gift, that is the free will. The free will, it's a gorgeous thing, because we decide what to accept, to believe or not. But this doesn't mean that there are no consequences. If we believe, if we decide to believe, there are consequences. If we decide to don't believe, there are still consequences. Doesn't matter if we want to accept it, if we like it, if we don't like it, doesn't change. We have got a body, a mind, a heart, a soul. We are responsible for what we do with all of this. And if we are sincere, we are humble, we want to know, then we can make the decision to believe. If not, we can make the decision to don't believe, but both of them have consequences. So once I realized that all this perfection and beauty, there is no chance other than being God's creation, like God created it, then I surrendered. This is reality. I wanted to know the reality. It manifested to me. I accept it. And since then I try to learn the manual, life manual that God gifted to human beings. The only manual from God that still exists is the Quran. All the other ones, they doesn't exist anymore. They have been corrupted, and there is no other book on the face of the earth that says this is from God, and it proves that this book is from God, other than the Quran. And it's beautiful to be on the truth side. And this is it. This is my story. Thank you for watching.